Floor is yours.
Well, before we talk about why Bradley Beal messed up the Suns, we're gonna move into a different sport. We're gonna talk about one of the most controversial topics that's happening right now in the sports world. And no, it's not because the Dallas Cowboys are actually making moves, and no, it's not because the NFC East just found ways to get better every single day. We're talking about boxing. And if you don't know, well, you're gonna find out here. So make sure you hit that like button. Was the Reaper robbed? And if you don't know who the Reaper is, Lamont Roach Jr. went up against Gervonta Tank Davis on Saturday night, where they both where Tank was actually defending his WBA lightweight world champion belt against Lamont Roach. And then some people decided to take a knee and wipe their eyes and think about what was going on during that fight. But that's not all that happened within that fight. Some news just broke recently, too, about Lamont's lawyer actually reaching out to New York to actually get that call reversed so that he can actually get that win and the belt. We'll touch on that just a little bit more, but I want to ask you guys, because most people already know how I felt about the fight. I seen it, talked about it on In the Red Corner. I'm going to give you two more snippets because I love my family here as well. But I want to hear from Dave and Joe about it. I'm also want to hear from Dave because you don't want to drop that bomb in that boxing chat about the lawyer doing what he had to do. So do you feel like Lamont was robbed?
If we're talking about the technicalities of the fight and the fact that he did take a knee down, if you look at it, he didn't get hit to take the knee down. Now, you maybe should have taken a point from that, possibly just because he just took a knee, and it's not something you necessarily are just allowed to do. But I would say that I'm not mad at the draw call. I don't necessarily think that Tank was leading the fight for one. And I kind of sort of feel the same thing about Lamont. I don't feel like either one of them really dominated the fight, or you really saw that who had an edge when the fight was going on. So I'm kind of okay with the draw of how it went. Although in the end you did see that Roach was kind of sort of gaining momentum. So it seemed like Roach was taking more charge of the fight. But we've seen multiple fights before where someone was taking charge in the end and they ended up losing the fight. That happened with Lomachenko when he fought against Devin Haney. Because Lomachenko was, took charge in the last part of the fight, and they gave the fight to Devin Haney. And we thought that was a robbery. And then we had someone talked about the technicalities of the fight and say, no, if you look at the scorecards, then Devin Haney deserved the win. Well, I'm not going to feel no different about this one, honestly. I'm okay with the way that the tie went. So I would not say that he got robbed. I would say that they need to regulate more when it comes to someone taking a knee or trying to take a pause on the fight while the fight is going on in that moment. You can't just automatically just create your own timeout. So I would say that maybe they should have taken a point for that, but I don't think that would have been a huge difference in. Well, it would have made the difference, and Lamont probably would have won. But I'm not going to give it a robbery there. It would have been different if they gave the fight to Tank. Then I would have called it a robbery if they gave it to Tank, because I saw more of a tie than it was that Tank won the fight.
Yeah.
So me, I scored a game, scored a fight. Sorry, scored a fight, and so I had Lamont Roach winning the first and the second, first two rounds. All right, I scored that. I scored Gervonta winning rounds 3 through 7. And I scored Lamont winning 8 through 12. So I had Lamont winning this fight 115 to 113. I had him winning the fight flat out without the knee being down. But I'm not the judge, so did he get robbed? I'm going to still say yes because it was a draw. The fact that it was a draw, meaning that in the 9th round, like they talked about, when Gervonta took that knee and went to his corner to wipe the grease out of his eyes, that should have been called a knockdown because the referee started counting. That should have been called a knockdown. And also, I don't care if it's grease you getting out your hair. I don't care if you file $1 million, take the knee to pick it up. I don't care what it is. You take a knee, that's a knockdown. It got to be. So, and then I know Tomo alluded to it also. The fight was held at Barclays Center, right? And the New York State Athletic Commission, he stepped in and he sent a statement to ESPN. And he said they are reviewing the matter involving Saturday's Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach WBA lightweight title fight in Brooklyn. Tank Davis, one of boxing's top stars, took a knee in round 9 following a punch that landed by Roach. Referee Steve Wilkes and this ain't the 49ers. Steve Willis correctly started to count. But when you reach 3, he stopped. When he reached 3, he stopped and didn't rule it a knockdown. If Willis followed the rules and called it a knockdown, Roach would have won via decision. Instead, it was a draw. So they are working on selling this matter. So I do think it was robbed. The fact that it was a draw and that knockdown would have been the tiebreaker. Boom, point blank. It's a point to Lamont. So yes, he was robbed.
He wasn't robbed. He wasn't robbed. The reason why I say he wasn't robbed is because we've seen several fighters get robbed. We had, what was it? Well, we talked about a fight almost like 2 months ago, Dave. It was one of them. I forgot who it was. I can't remember the name.
I mean, we talked about Frank Martin. We talked about
Frank got knocked out. But
No.
It was another fight where they clearly got robbed. The girl on Netflix. Amanda Serrano versus Katie. That was a robbery.
Clear robbery. That was a clear robbery.
You see what happens there? Judges just get it wrong. I don't think it's a robbery. I think it goes back to what Dave was saying. We need better officiating when it comes to boxing. And this is why most boxing fans have stopped watching and falling in love with the sport. Because these judges come in and do that. You said it was around about round 9. I'm looking at the scorecards right now, like the official ones. One of these judges actually gave that 9th round to Tank. So how can you give him the round if you said it was he took the knee and it counts as a knockdown? You get what I'm saying? Like, the judges are the reason why most of these fighters know when you go in certain places, you got to come out with a knockout because you just know you can't leave it in their hands. So technically, he got robbed. But if you ask me, it was a draw. The fight was technically a draw. Without that knockdown, it was a draw. Now, another thing that I learned from this fight is the fact that a lot of people are coming up with new boxing rules all of a sudden. Like, I seen somewhere that you can voluntarily take a knee. And I've been scouring Google for like the last 3 days to figure out where did they come up with this. And I'm going to read it right here. They said a knee is not counted as a knockdown in boxing when a boxer intentionally takes a knee to the canvas, not as a result of being hit by a punch. And the referee determines that the action was not due to a knockdown, but rather for a reason like adjusting the equipment or wiping their eye or wiping something from their eyes. And because I read that, I said, this sounds too close to this situation to be real.
Does.
And that's why I've been on Google the last 3 days, and I have not found it anywhere but outside of this one screenshot. So if somebody else has a link to this, send me that. But I seen it in somebody's story.
Send me that screenshot. I'm gonna find it.
All right, I got you. But I said, wait. They said technically it's considered a slip. And then once I heard that, I was like, well, if anything, he should have just slipped and fell. If you want to do that, if that's what he was trying to do. But the other thing I really want to address too is what you dropped in the chat about him being upset about the actual calling of it and trying to go back to New York and saying, hey, well, you know what? I want to actually get this. I want to actually get the win. And y'all need to fix this. I'm going to keep the same energy I kept for Devin Haney. When Devin Haney did this against Ryan Garcia, I didn't like it, and I don't like this move now. Granted, I understand where everybody want to come from with it. They may say the situation is different. One guy was on PEDs versus a actual controversial call. You can call it how you want. I'm keeping my table set the same way. Judges mess up fights all the time. Force the rematch and do what you need to do. Going to New York and getting them to give you this W is not going to make you feel 10 times better. Honestly, if New York gives you the W, Tank could just say, I don't want to fight no more. And now you don't even get the rematch. So technically, people going to say, did you actually beat him on that? It opens too many doors. So Tank, go fight the boy again. Give him the match he deserves. And let's see what happens then.
No, Tomo, I got to disagree with something you said. Sorry. So round 9, I could see it go both ways. Round 9 was a close round, but they didn't count it as a knockdown, so the judges can't call it as a knockdown. The problem wasn't the judges. The problem was the officiating, not calling the knockdown. Once he started counting, that is a knockdown, but he started counting, and then he stopped counting, and he started talking to Tank, all that stuff. So the problem was not the judges, because it was a close fight. Like they said, it was a close. Like I got it 115, 113. That's one round, literally like One round would have made it a tie. If I would given him another round to Tank. And I could have easily gave Tank round 1 or round 1. I could have gave Tank round 1. But the knockdown is a separator from the draw. And then people gave up examples. Floyd Mayweather. He hit, I forgot who he's fighting. He hit somebody, broke his hand, and took a knee after he hit somebody. And people don't realize this. Before Tank took that knee, I should have had a video. Before he took that knee, he got hit with a jab. He got hit with a jab, looked at his corner, and then was like, took a knee, and then went to the corner. That's what he did. So it wasn't like
that jab ain't connect.
It didn't connect. Well, okay, it didn't connect. Okay.
No,
if it didn't connect, it's on me. It's on me. You know, but that's why I don't think it's on the judges, this fight, because it was a close fight. It's a reason to call it a draw if you're not going to call it a knockdown. But I believe that was a knockdown. I believe it was a knockdown because there was no equipment issues. Why was somebody your eye? Come on, man.
Hey, look, somebody sent me another clip of Terrence Crawford getting knocked down in the 3rd round against I can't pronounce his last name. It's too many syllables, too many vowels. It's like K something. But they said that wasn't considered a knockdown, not either. But again, the reason why I'm gonna give you a little bit of pushback so we can move on. If you are the judge and in your heart you felt like that was a knockdown, you can score that round to Lamont. And that's the difference.
That won't be fair though. You gotta judge it right. So you judge it based on the round, which is
that's judging it right though, Joe.
No, you're saying reward it as a knockdown when it really wasn't. Like you
Who said it wasn't though?
The ref. The ref
got it wrong.
So you can't score the knockdown, right? I mean,
that's what the judge is for. You supposed to beat them. You supposed to be my backup. If I got it wrong,
I think the judges score based off the actual round, and then if there's a knockdown, you take a point away. So right. So if there's no knockdown, you don't take a point.
Judges don't always do that.
That's what I'm saying.
No. What are you talking about? When you get a knockdown, you get a point taken away automatically.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they don't always judge the round the right way.
Yeah.
That's true. But Tomo was saying the judge, if he thinks it's a knockdown, but the ref said it wasn't, he should still judge the round as if it was a knockdown. I'm like, nah.
But the letter by the law, you take a knee, it's a standing 8. The ref never came to you and said it was a slip or anything else. Like there was nothing ever said from the ref. It was just like it just wasn't.
They said no knockdown. Even the broadcasters mentioned that the ref says no knockdown.
Nah.
And like I said, watching round 9, that was a close round. Like literally, that was a close round. That could have went either way.
It was a close round. But I'm with you, Tomo. Get it back in blood. That's what the same thing we said about Devin Haney. I'm gonna treat this the same way. Get it back in blood. Because honestly, there are so many fighters that got robbed. Pacquiao got robbed of the fight against Jeff Horn in Australia. We saw that Pacquiao clearly won that fight. Pacquiao got robbed in the fight against Timothy Bradley. He clearly won that fight. So I mean, robberies happen all the time. Did Pacquiao file for it to be reversed? No, he went. He went on to the next fight. That's what happens. You do that. You go get the next fight. And then Devin Haney, he went as far as to assume he did it. He pulled the Drake. So.
He definitely did.
Hold on. So Lamont filed something?
Yes, his lawyer filed to get the call reversed. That happened today.
Because he knows Tank Ryan ain't gonna fight that man.
Right before Tank said, "Let's get it back." Like, come on, bro.
He also said, "I don't know when." He also said, "I don't know if it's gonna be next."
That was after that was right. That was directly after the fight. Then they talked again on Twitter, and they've been basically saying, "Let's get it back."
They've been going back and forth.
Hey, listen, I believe when I see it.
Okay. I'm with you on that one. I think he'll fight Lamont before you will ever see them other fights that people keep
he ain't gonna fight Shakur or I don't know. He ain't doing that.
So we already know.
Shakur, you know Lamont and Shakur though, they on talks.
Oh, we talked about it in the right corner. I think Lamont. I'm just letting the RTL family know.
I know whose side you on.
I'm just saying because Ty keeps talking a little crazy, man. I'm just saying.
And Ty come on, Ty. Come on, man.
I'm just saying.
Wrap your hoods. I mean, man, wrap your 50 Cent. Go ahead, man.
Hey, look, man. Sometimes you move to different